Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of On Air. This is season 2, episode 3, and today we are going to be discussing mental health, and especially mental health with social media, because two of them are very hot topics these days, and they kind of coincide with one another, whether we like it or not. So we're going to get into all of that, but before that, we are going to do a little weekly recap with like pop culture, some scandals, celebrity news, all that good stuff. So let's get into it.
Amazing.
So
Honestly,
we just finished the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was almost overshadowed by one of the biggest so-called celebrity breakups of this year, which is Megan Fox and MGK, where I guess I don't want to like butcher the story, but she deleted all the photos from him off of her social media, and then she posted some cryptic quote from Beyonce about somebody being like unfaithful was there more details to this that I'm missing?
It was the Lemonade album lyrics.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, I could smell the dishonesty on your breath. I don't know the exact lyrics, but it was something along those lines. And then I guess she deleted her Instagram altogether. And then today, supposedly, they were seen coming out of a relationship counselor's office. Did you see this?
I actually
in
haven't
LA.
seen that one.
No.
Yeah, this is just like 2 hours ago. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh my god.
And she was looking very disheveled and crying and stuff. So I think that they should break up and stay broken up, because I feel like this is just toxic. And the relationship did what it needed to do, which was kind of gave her like a little bit of a career revival. Because for so long she was like, you know, married to Brian Austin Green and stuff. And I feel like she kind of cut her career a little bit short by becoming like the mom, the wife, all that stuff. Not to say that that's not an important role, but I feel like her dating MGK, who's like 4 years younger or something, kind of gave her more of like an edge, I guess.
Right.
And almost like rebranded her for a little bit. So I feel like now that's done, like, let's go to the next level, Megan, because I feel like it's just when you read different things about the relationship, it just seems like it's very tumultuous. And I don't think that's good.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm also just like really excited about her single era.
Me too.
Yes.
Like everyone needs like a poppin' single era when you're at the peak of your career.
Yeah.
To like everyone's watching, what is she gonna do next?
Like,
kind of thing.
can we all just agree that Megan Fox is one of the baddest bitches of all time?
100%.
Of all
Ever.
time. Like, it's like it's like the face that launched 1,000 copycats. It's like the black hair, the blue eyes, like the bad girl vibes. And I feel like so many people have tried to kind of follow and
Emulate it.
yeah. But she's just so gorgeous, and I feel like she looks amazing. And she never really had like a single phase. She
100%.
was with the first guy, and then she literally went right from that to this. So it's like she needs to kind of just be single.
Yeah. Do you know she was dating anyone during like Transformers era when like she was like the icon
wasn't
of
she?
beauty?
I think that's when she was dating her now ex-husband, but like she always kind of kept him not in the spotlight with her because they wanted her to appear maybe like single
More
or
single.
something. Yeah.
Right, because she was like, I don't even know, like for lack of a better word, like I keep saying icon, but like she was like the symbol of like sex and
It was like the sex symbol of
sex
like
symbol.
that era, like the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
oh, she's a legend.
Jennifer's
She is a
body.
legend. Yeah.
That was way earlier too.
I know, but like that's
yeah.
what like kicked it off.
Right.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh my god. And then she became a blockbuster queen.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, so drama.
And it's like she's grown. Like I feel like she's not like a little girl. Like she's like a grown woman. She's drop dead gorgeous. She looks better than ever. And she, you know, got enough press and got like enough like whatever. And I feel like she could kind of just only go up from here. Like who's he going to date after her, to be honest?
Like no one, like the fact that she was even with MGK in the first place.
She's like doing him a favor, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like she will only upgrade and he will only downgrade.
100%.
And like the fact that supposedly he might have cheated on her, it's like, I know we should never even say this, because even when the same thing happened with like Emily Ratajkowski's loser ex-husband cheating on her, we're all like, how could you cheat on Emily Ratajkowski? Well, we shouldn't really say that, because it implies that like the woman being drop dead gorgeous is going to stop the scumbag guy from cheating. And we all know it has like nothing to do with women. But like, again, this is like the case of like, if you really did cheat on Megan Fox, how could you fucking cheat on Megan
Yeah.
Fox?
Literally.
You know what I mean?
It's like the tale's oldest time.
yeah, like, are you
Exactly.
serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully she just.
It's
Bye-bye.
crazy too, because I feel like that was the first relationship in a while where like both of them needed a little revival.
Yeah.
Because MGK was just recently becoming popular again, and he's done some horrible stuff
Yeah.
in his career.
Yeah.
So like he needed her, and I would argue that he needed her more than she
Yeah,
needed him.
for sure.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Like she can do so much better, and we all know it.
So much.
So speaking of Emrata, did anyone see the Emrata and Eric Andre
Andre's
pics
with, like,
that just
nude
dropped today?
photo.
Oh my god, like of them nude?
I
Yeah.
didn't know there
You
were
didn't
new
see
ones.
that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, no, like they literally just dropped today.
Like a couple hours ago.
Like
Oh
they're
my
iconic.
God. Why was that not on my Snap Discover, Snapchat?
No,
Do
like
better.
literally.
Oh, and also speaking of both of these different couples, do you guys think that Megan Fox might end up dating Pete Davidson?
I think so.
Yes, like
because that's the new prediction.
that's the new thing.
Yeah.
Like you have to date Pete
and
Davidson.
MGK
Yeah.
friends. So is that like?
You're
Are
right.
they?
Yeah, they
I think
are.
So they're
That'd
they're
be even better.
That's how Kim met
yes.
Pete, because they all
They used to be like best friends.
went to Disney together or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a
Dang.
little,
Messy.
messy.
Be fun.
Oh my gosh. And then also like to touch on like more pop culture, like I feel like we have to weigh in on Michaela.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's
On
next.
the controversy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Do you know the full story, Abigail?
Yes, with the eyelashes and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's for me, it's just so stupid, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably getting paid a ton. So she probably did put fake lashes on, whatever. She's thinking of it as from like a standpoint of like, I want this to be like amazing. It's a huge brand, obviously. L'Oreal is like, an OG in the makeup industry. So she maybe jazzed it up with like a little bit of special effects with the fake eyelashes on the end, whatever. Is it really like, I feel like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Like,
Right.
1000%.
but
I
again,
think
people.
it's just her. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just her channel is all reviewing makeup.
Yeah.
So I feel
Right.
like it almost lost her some validity
credits
from
her
her
a little
viewers
bit.
of like,
Yeah.
like I was one of those people who was like, well, if she loves it, I love it. And like now
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, I don't know how much I believe her anymore. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
that. I don't think it's worth the like, fuck her, or like whatever. But it's like,
Yeah.
do I want to buy anything that she promotes again? Which is
Totally.
not a good look for an influencer. That's your number
No.
one goal is
Yeah.
to sell products.
And I
so.
think that that's like her whole appeal. Like you kind of said, it's like her being so authentic, and she's not this typical cookie cutter, like supermodel. She's like girl next door, and everyone kind of values her opinion because it always seems like it's 100% genuine. So I think that maybe kind of watered it down a little
Right.
bit, or, it's like, what else are you possibly, and people are like, are you a sellout? Now you're
Right.
just getting bigger and you're going to just take
Yeah.
these checks from people. But
Did you hear the theory too that people theorized that the brand was in on it and like it was like a whole PR stunt? Because at the end of the day, what did people do?
Yeah.
Every beauty TikToker out there bought the product,
that
tried
Yeah.
it
product.
themselves.
They're like, okay, I guess I need to try it out. And it
Yeah.
became like a whole trend to try out
True.
the controversial
Yeah.
mascara. So
Right.
like,
I bet you that brought in more sales than if she
Then-
like genuinely did an
Yeah.
like organic post for them.
For
and
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
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 So honestly, moral of the story, L'Oreal is winning.
Yeah.
L'Oreal's only gonna win
Exactly.
after all this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then what was the other thing we were going to talk about? Why is my brain already forgetting? It was MGK, L'Oreal.
L'Oreal.
Yeah.
We talked about the Jeffree Star thing, but we weren't going to dive into that.
No, it wasn't Jeffree Star.
More
Jeffree
thing.
Star was. Oh my God! Like.
I swear.
New season of You.
Oh, the new
You-
season of You. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I just started this like 2 days ago. I don't know why. I just cannot get into the season that much. I think it's just because I have no idea. And they also split up the season. So it's like 5 episodes, and then there's a break until the middle of March, and then it's the other rest of the season. But I don't know why. I just keep kind of like, there's all these new characters. There's nobody that's the same except for Joe, obviously. But did you guys see it?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm actually
Yeah.
starting it tonight. I've been waiting
Yeah.
to start it with my boyfriend on Valentine's Day, but I've heard, I mean, people are saying it's really good, but this might be a little derailed real quick and not talking about the season because I haven't watched it yet. But have you heard all the like
gossip about how they're saying, what's his name? Penn Badgley, who plays Joe, said he won't do any more intimate scenes.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I don't,
I
everyone
saw
is
that.
now like, conspiracizing and being like, well, do you think it means that he cheated and now he's on a tight leash and like da 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 da.
I also
didn't
saw
even think
someone
that.
saying it was problematic, and they were like, "It's on him that he can't control himself." And I'm like,
What
"What?"
the hell?
Like, it's
Yeah.
so weird. It's causing a lot of controversy.
That
though,
is
on the
so
internet.
weird.
That is very interesting. I've heard stories similar to that of this like one actor. He's like not well known, but he did a movie once. I don't even remember his name, but he literally got the producers, director, whatever, to hire his wife as the
way.
significant other in the film, just so that he could do a love
Sex scene or whatever?
Yes, with
Oh
his
my
wife.
God.
And it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, dude, this is your craft. Like, acting is a craft. Acting
Yeah.
is your job. Like, if it's not real,
Yeah, then who
what does
cares?
it matter?
Yeah.
Like, especially like think about people in the like adult industry, like the porn industry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they are quite literally having sex with other people and probably are in relationships.
Yeah.
They are quite literally having.
Well, I
sex
would
with
imagine it's most, and I don't want to say that he's not a good actor, Penn Badgley or whatever his
Right.
name is, but I feel like the actors who are like even higher up, you never hear this discussion about them. You know what I mean? So not to say he's like a lower level of an actor, but you would never hear like Christian Bale or like Leonardo DiCaprio like talking. Well, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, unless it was somebody
That's
under
another
25 years old, you would be good with doing it. But you know what I mean, though? These like really, you know, like these acclaimed people, you would never ever hear this kind of discussion with, I don't think.
Yeah. 'Cause
Right?
when you oh, go ahead.
I don't know though. I feel like I hear about a lot, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, for example. Like they got together because they were acting in whatever. In a,
Mr. and
Yeah.
Mrs. Smith.
yeah, in that
true.
That
movie.
movie.
And so it's like I feel like it's not something that is totally out of the question, because it also like goes into like, well, like you are having to put yourself in that
Yeah.
headspace with that person.
Right.
It's
true.
true.
No.
It's not even just the intimacy too. It's like in the movies or on a TV set, like you're probably trying to increase your, what's the word I'm looking for?
Chemistry or
Chemistry
something?
with that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And so like I listen to a lot of podcasts now about like rewatching shows, and they're always like, we spent so much time together off screen to make our
Yeah.
on-screen chemistry better. So even if you're not like in a sex scene or even like having to do anything physical, kiss, anything, like you're still spending time together to have that like just personal
Yeah.
connection that seems
Yeah.
realistic on screen.
That's true.
And that can then you're hanging out with that one person all the time, and then you're
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, I think that's like a testament to like why like relationships with like actors and celebrities and like a lot of these people who their career is to be in these intimate settings. It's like a lot of these relationships don't last because they're constantly like hopping around.
Yeah.
Also, this is like another topic with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and the whole Reese Witherspoon
Oh yeah,
thing.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He was like, wasn't he like worried about doing a lot of press with Reese
Yeah.
because he was like, no, my wife is Mila. I love Mila. Like,
Yeah.
let's not get it
And
twisted.
he was like scared people were going to say they were having an affair or something. But
Right.
Mila Kunis was like, you guys need to act like you like each other in these press like
the
things.
red
because-
carpet pictures, they're like not touching each
Yeah.
other, like arms down at their sides. Like it's so awkward.
But that, see, like, honestly, when we think about PR stunts, my brain is always there. But like, that's like another thing. It's like, that just made me want to watch that movie more.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, okay, like they're not
True.
doing this in their press junkets, but Mila's weighing in on it, being like, do
Yeah.
it. And
Right.
then like Ashton's just being his goofy self. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, now I want to watch the movie. Do they
Right?
have chemistry?
Yeah, so these might all be like on, you know, planned and stuff on purpose.
Right.
These like little like news things that they planned.
Oh my God, it's all a mystery. And that's why pop culture is so fascinating. Oh my God. So do we want to get into today's topic,
Jump
or do we
in.
want to, is there anything else that we're
I'm
missing?
trying to think. Okay, wait, this is something like totally random. I don't even think we had it on our list. But there's like this viral video going around of some lady, I don't know who she is. She's like a journalist or something talking about, okay, why did Rihanna had all these songs she could have performed. Why did she choose to play All of the Lights, which is with Kanye West, after his whole year of bashing the Jews? If this was like any other, you know, group that somebody had attacked, they would like cancel the person who was like still supporting them. What do we think of this?
Weren't there several songs she sang that
Yeah, that
I think
Kanye
had
was
Kanye
on?
features?
First of all,
Well-
Kanye like produced and has produced so much
many
music.
songs, yeah.
Like
Especially her career.
especially
Yeah.
with Rihanna, I that's what the Super Bowl performance made me realize. I'm like, oh my God, like he has been on like all of her
For
songs.
sure.
She didn't play the part that he rapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she just sang her little part, and it's
For him to
everyone
like, for
knows
us
that
to cut him
song,
out
yeah.
completely of like any kind of involvement is going to be almost impossible.
Yeah.
With like music, art, just like, you know,
Right.
culture, like in general. I feel like he's influenced so many things that it's like, okay, that's really reaching.
And I don't think it was intentional that I think like the Super Bowl is about the biggest hits. And
Yeah.
obviously
Right.
Rihanna has several. And I think she was like kind of trying to reach every audience. Like I think those songs that have those Kanye
Yeah.
features maybe hit a different audience that like Pon de Replay doesn't hit.
Yeah.
That like, you know, like that
They
could
have
have
to
hit
like
a different
take
kind of
into
audience.
account, like which songs are like the most
Yes,
like
like, when did this-
recognizable, sing along.
Yeah.
You know,
When did this get popular? Who was listening to it? Like I think
Yeah.
it's so formulated,
no, for
Yeah.
sure.
some word like that, formulaic, that they're like, you know, this has to hit the right people at the right time
Yeah.
kind of thing.
100%.
So I feel like
Especially in the stadiums, like you
Yeah.
have that energy, and it's like certain songs would just ignite it even more, and like
all of the lights is
All
a
of the
huge
lights,
sports
yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Like they play that a lot in like warm-ups and
Yeah.
like in sports all the time. So
And
I
what a
feel
cool
like they tried to
production
use
moment.
like because she didn't. We were just talking about this too. She didn't sing anything off like any of the like R&B kind of like slower.
yeah,
Like it
what
was
is she gonna
all
play?
these
Like "Love the Way You Lie"? Like
right,
no,
right.
no, right, like
And let's not forget, like, when she sang All of the Lights, the whole stadium was lit up.
yeah.
Like,
so it just
it was
works.
a perfect song to
Yeah,
play in that
play.
moment.
Yeah,
and it's so good like for production.
Yeah.
Like when you're
Right.
watching it on TV and they can do so much
with
the
the
lights.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
And with her being pregnant, maybe she tried to go for more songs that could be more
Yeah.
production heavy and less like performance heavy.
that's so
you know?
true.
If she was going to do a nod to Kanye, I feel like if anything, she would have done, like, Famous. Because that was, like,
Yeah,
her big song
sure.
with Kanye. And that was everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't think there was any malintent from Riri. Like, I think she really was
Yeah.
just working with what she had. And I have heard a lot of, like, negativity surrounding, like, the songs she chose. But honestly, like, at the end of the day, like,
Sorry, she has so many hits that
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
can't choose.
she has, what, 8 albums
and she has a
out?
whole team that goes over all of the stuff that like
Exactly.
thinks all of this through very thoroughly.
It's the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah.
not like a tour set list where she's like,
Exactly.
well, my fans like, she has to like think about the general population
Yeah,
of this
this
country.
isn't a
Like,
Rihanna concert where everybody in the stands are her fans and they're diehard and,
and the
will
millions
like
of people
anything.
watching. And
It's she has to go with like, you know, the most mainstream, marketable.
Totally. And those dancers, like, we have to work with songs that they can dance
Yeah,
to.
for
And that
sure.
was Diamonds, that was Rude Boy. Like,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I feel like she did an amazing job and she can do no wrong in my eyes. Did you like that little riff I did there?
I loved it. Yeah.
okay, Rihanna.
Your big
Call me
moments.
Rihanna. Guys, did you actually know it was pronounced Rihanna?
No.
Everyone
No.
pronounces her name wrong. If you watch any interview
I-
where she introduces herself, she'll call herself Rihanna.
Oh my god.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
that's like, what do they call it? The Mandela effect.
Yes.
It's literally the Mandela.
I'm
effect.
sorry, you've been famous forever. Why are you letting everyone say your name wrong? Like, what?
Guys, the thing is I don't think she I don't think she wants people to pronounce her name wrong. I think the world just like went with Rihanna
Yeah,
and no one
exactly.
can
You
look
Yeah.
can't
back.
like go back on it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my god. Okay, guys, so we are getting back into talking about today's topic, which is mental health. This is something I really don't touch base on that much. So I actually have my team who prompted some questions with a little Q&A on my story recently, and we picked our favorite, I think it's like 10 to 15 questions. So let's get into it.
Yes.
You guys
Do
wanna
you want me to do
ask
the
me?
first
Get
one?
into it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this one's like a good one, I
Okay.
think, because I'm always curious about this. But what's your morning routine like and why is it so important to you?
Okay, so I definitely think that the way you spend your morning kind of sets the tone for the day. And one thing that really causes me like the worst anxiety is whenever I feel rushed. And a lot of the time that feeling of being rushed comes down to me just wanting to sleep in longer. So I'm like, okay, stop hitting the snooze button, get up, because I feel like if you have a slow morning, it kind of just sets the tone like that, you know, you're going to be able to do everything throughout the day without feeling rushed and anxious. And another thing that I do not do is I don't look at my phone within like the first 90 minutes of waking up. Like I'll just use it to maybe I use this one app called the Superhuman app that has all these guided meditations. So I'll use it for something like that, or I'll put on music, but I don't ever go on social media or check my email or even look at TMZ that early in the morning, because you just never know what you're gonna be bombarded with that early on. And I feel like we're just always, hit with all these different things that the first thing we do once we wake up, once our eyes open, is just check all of that stuff. It's like kind of like sensory overload. And I feel like that's a key to me, is just first 90 minutes of the day, no social media, no emails, no news. So
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just being with yourself to start off your day.
Exactly.
I truly could not do that. Like I might have to take that advice, because it's that conversation about like, this is like all related, but like we're constantly consuming nowadays.
Yeah.
We are, like, as humans, constantly consuming content that is like melting our brains.
Yeah.
So you being able to like turn yourself off, or like turn everything around you off, I guess.
Yeah.
To like just be with yourself. Oh my God. I can't even imagine how calming
You
that
should
must
try
be.
it. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think too, like the time off your phone at night, and then the time, because like you said, we're always consuming, especially like us, we're in front of screens all day long.
Yeah.
So if then you're laying in bed on your screen, and then you wake up and the first thing you do is look at your screen, like that's literally your whole life is behind the screen.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That waking up early and not going on your phone, like I've started implementing that like the past month or two, and it really does change your whole mental state for the entire rest of the day.
For sure.
So that being said, what does your hello? That being said, what does your ideal day look like?
So lately I've been waking up at like about 7:30, and I'll get up. The first thing I do is make my bed. And then while I'm making my bed, I like turn on the shower to get it kind of hot. And then I have a vanity mirror in my bathroom that has like a Bluetooth that plays music. So I'll put on Superhuman, my app, and they have these guided meditations for like positive getting ready in the morning, positive doing makeup, for like anything you could think of. So I'll put that on. And then while I'm in the shower, it's like envision your future self, like healthy and disciplined and all that stuff. I'm like, yes.
That's
and
amazing.
then I get out of there. I do like my little skincare thing, and I have the 5-minute journal, the gratitude journal. I do that.
Love that.
And then I feel like also like a big part of having a good morning is kind of preparing the night before. So I always lay out whatever I'm going to wear, just to kind of like, again, for me, I'm always frazzled if I'm not prepared, running late, that stuff. I just go into like freeze mode where I'm like, I can't think straight. Yeah. So for me, that's like preparation is like everything kind of the night before.
Yeah. This is like a side question, but because I know like meditation is kind of different for everyone, but like when did you start getting into meditation, and was it hard for you to get into? Because I know for some people it's hard for them to like get to that point of like
I can never actually do a completely quiet, silent meditation, again, because like my mind just never fully shuts off, but I like to kind of do like a guided one with something on my phone that talks me through it.
Right.
But I would like one day to get to the point where I'm just like completely silent and able to go into my own thoughts, but I don't do that yet. So.
Yeah, someone was telling me, I think it might have been you, Noelle, or maybe it was someone else, but they were telling me that like for the longest time they would like clean their house listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one day they were just like, there's so much noise around me all the time. I'm just going to do my like chores around the house with complete silence.
Yeah.
And she said it was life-changing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I
I
don't
was
know
like,
if that
that
was me.
wasn't
I
me.
love listening to podcasts while I clean.
Same.
And
You're like, I
also,
don't
like,
clean.
stress clean. Like if I'm feeling stressed out, like that's
Same.
it. Like what I'm doing is I'm deep cleaning my house.
Yeah.
Same. Which leads me into the next question, which is, what is your favorite way to clear your head? Is it meditation, or do you like to keep yourself busy?
If I'm ever having like a day where I feel overwhelmed, I usually like to just kind of put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I just either will like take a nap, or I'll just watch my favorite show and just kind of zone out of everything. Because sometimes if you're having one of those days that like nothing is really going good and you try to just kind of keep going with it, you just feel like, okay, I'm just like one thing after another. Sometimes it's good to just like stop and be like, I just want to completely go into my own little, vortex.
Absolutely. Do you have a self-care routine that you kind of like stick to after a bad mental health day?
Yeah, I'll usually take a bath at night. I love baths, so I'll take like an Epsom salt bath, put on meditation music, light my little white sage candle, and just kind of like again, phone on do not disturb. I won't even like look at it till the day after.
That's amazing.
Wow.
You have so much willpower. Like,
I know.
Thanks, guys.
I want to be like Abigail.
literally, I think everyone wants to be more like that. Like, it's so hard to do these days. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I credit you for that. Cause like, I think people also try to distract themselves with more
With
a
their
lot when
phone.
they're like
Yeah.
feeling down. Like, what's going on TikTok or what's everyone
Yeah.
else doing since my life sucks. Like,
Yeah.
so that's
Oh,
like very, very
exactly.
healthy that you do that.
Thanks, guys.
Totally. So this is interesting because, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of these are all kind of relate in a lot of ways, but this one is what is the best way to get out of a depression and slump? And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, but also I know we talked about like turning off your phones and getting away from like media and stuff, but I want to hear what helps you get out of a depression or slump normally, but then like, are there any like specific songs or movies that like really kind of just like put you in a happy place?
I feel like definitely there's some. I usually really don't like to rewatch that many movies, except if I'm like really anxious. Somewhere I like read that like people who like to rewatch their favorite movies do it because like they already know the ending or something. And one movie I always like to watch is The Holiday, because I feel like it's such like a good movie. It's just feel good. I've seen it a million times. It has like the Christmas feel to it and just like all good actors. And that's like one that I always put on. It just kind of brings back this familiar feeling of like comfort.
Yeah.
Almost,
Yeah,
you
totally.
know? And I'll like order some food from like my like one of my favorite places, or get like chicken noodle soup, just like feel good food.
Yeah.
Or like tomato soup with like a grilled cheese sandwich dip, just like things that kind of bring you back like a little bit like nostalgic of like staying home from school when you're little and stuff, and just being like, okay, let's just like go back
That's like
to
a
the
scientific
basics.
thing, I think. Like someone told me once to always go back to what made you happy when you were a kid, like when you feel depressed. So like, I think my friend was really into music or something. So her therapist was like, you should start writing songs again. And she was like, I am way too depressed with that. Like, I don't even know where I would start. And then she had just like one day did. And now like she comes home from work every day and just like writes and, you know, like it's just, you got to go back to sometimes not like what would make me happy now, but like what made me happy when I was a child, like before anything scary
It's
happened
almost
to
like
me.
muscle memory, like in your mind though.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, and with the whole music thing, to add another layer to it, that's like not only like a thing that she did when she was a child, but or younger, that like is a comfort level, but it's also like such a release, because when you're writing music, you're putting your thoughts like out there
On pen
into
and
the
paper,
world.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on pen and paper, and it's like manifestation while also getting your thoughts out, while also just like creating art, and that's gotta be like
probably
its
getting
own
some
form of therapy.
validation. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Hobbies are a huge thing. That like, like I feel like we get so, I mean, like it sounds so funny, but like it's true. We're all so caught up in like work and relationships and like what, like just stupid hobbies. Like that is what truly can help
Get a
our
hobby.
mental health entirely sometimes.
Yeah, wait, actually, that's an interesting thing to bring up. This is not written down, which you totally don't have to answer this, or we can cut it out. Sorry, guys. Sorry, viewers. Or listeners, I should say. But do you have hobbies that you kind of lean on to like,
Make you feel like yourself again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Did I already ask that?
Besides tomato soup and grilled
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
Probably just like tapping back into like the self-care routines, kind of just like putting everything else on hold and kind of being like selfish for a little bit, because again, we always just have a million things that we kind of sometimes put before ourselves, that it's nice to just be like, no, I'm tuning out the rest of the world and I'm doing like this. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to do a hair mask, a full body mask, put on my favorite shows, like lock the doors, light my favorite candles. You know, it's just like kind of you time that you control the whole like, you know, setting and all the details.
Well, that's amazing too, because it's like a hobby of yours in a way, because you're like, it relaxes you, but it's also like genuinely taking care of your body.
Yeah,
so there's like
sure.
so many benefits to it at that point. Anyway, I had to ask that. This is literally my opportunity to ask Abigail any question I want. All right, next one. Did you grow up with any friends or family members with mental health issues? Also, totally don't have to get into like the deepness of it if you have, but did that affect you anyway? Like, how did you see that kind of unravel?
I would say probably the one that stood out the most to me was my uncle, my mom's brother, who I worked for. He's like a brilliant dentist. Struggled with bipolar disorder.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
tough.
Were you ever like exposed to it?
well, he just killed himself last year. He shot himself in the head with a
I'm
rifle.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So that was the.
You're like,
So anyway.
That worked out.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's just like
No, it's not
or
funny.
like, how
It's
did
not
that
funny.
affect you? How did that affect him?
Yeah,
Like,
no, and but he was so brilliant because it was my mom. Obviously, I mean, I worked for him when I was in college, but he would go into these bipolar episodes and he wouldn't show up to work for like a week and stuff. And I was like, Mom, I don't understand that because I always see Uncle Tommy as this brilliant dentist and he's so charismatic and magnetic and stuff. She's like, yeah, she's like, that's my younger brother. You don't know the half of him and stuff. And I guess he would just go into these really dark episodes and like. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, if you don't, I guess, have it or because I'd be like, how? Like, his life is perfect. He makes so much money. He's so successful. And that's not the way that mental health works. Like, it doesn't discriminate against your social class or your, income and stuff. And it was always kind of difficult to, understand that. But then, I remember my mom called me a couple months ago. She's like, Uncle Tommy's dead. And he shot himself with a rifle in his house or something.
I feel like that's always a thing too. Not that specifically, but like the idea of very intelligent, very successful people always struggling the most.
For sure.
I think that really came about, or like people really picked up on that when Robin Williams died.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that picture. It's like him smiling super big,
Yep.
and it's like, hey, this was a really depressed person, and nobody thought so.
That's like a big thing in comedy too. Like a lot of comedians
God, I
are
know.
always
so
struggling.
many comedians.
Yeah. Just a guy that just recently.
Bob Saget.
No. The one that was on the Ellen DeGeneres
You died
show.
too.
Oh, Twitch.
Don't y'all
Yeah.
laugh. Oh,
Twitch.
But everyone's like, again,
Twitch.
this person was so the face of like
life.
happiness. You don't
Yeah.
understand. But then I've heard that like sometimes the comedians are, well, he wasn't like an actual comedian, but
But he was like,
Yeah.
I mean, every
Yeah.
person had I met him a couple times because I was a dancer growing up, Twitch. But also, like, every person who talked about him had the same exact thing to say. And it's like, he lit up every room. He always made sure everyone else was happy. He was the best person in the world. Like, which obviously they're going to say about somebody who they loved who passed away. But, like, he really was like that. And, like, Rob, like, so many actual comedians who make their living being funny, like, typically are the most mentally ill. And it's like, I don't know. It's really sad because a lot of them are very, very intelligent as well. Like you said, like they can be geniuses, but just like can't get the mental health part of it down as well. It's sad.
Right. I hope we don't start seeing that effect in influencers too, because I think, I mean, obviously such a different world and such a different job, but comedians have to be on all the time. Influencers have to be on all the time. And mental health is, sorry, I just hit you. Mental health is like a huge thing in the influencer space, and like just making sure people are doing okay, because you guys get so much hate. Like not even just the hate, but like having to be
constant pressure.
Because the number one thing I think with influencers and probably celebrities in general, whether they're comedians or not, is like it's almost like a what's the word? I can never think of the word I'm looking for, but the not the backlash, the response you get from the people who look at your content or whatever, even if it's positive, that's great. But like by the time you post something else, if it doesn't do as well, if it doesn't, you're going to be sad. If it does, like there's so many things based on numbers, based on other people's feelings. It's constant feedback, and that can affect your mental health so much, because especially when you're an influencer, you're just putting yourself on the internet. So if it's not being perceived well, or if people don't like it, you think, well, I'm not likable, and I'm not like, it can be really tricky.
It's a huge like reflection on yourself, whereas like actors get to hide behind the fact that they're playing a role, or musicians get to hide behind the fact that they're singing a song about a specific subject and that's not actually them. Like I know Sam Smith, a lot of their music is written about like as if they were playing another person in their songs. So I think
Taylor Swift does that a bit too.
A lot of music artists do that, and I'm sure it's because putting all of yourself into your music in every song on these albums of 20 songs each, like that's got to be a lot. For sure. I would want to play a role a few times if I were them. But that's why I keep pointing at you, Abigail, because you're like the influencer, but do you want to speak on that at all? Like how?
I think that there's also, I think we might have had this on our like list of things, but there's this one thing I never knew it was actually like there was a term for it, but it's called the spotlight effect. where it's just basically like it happens more so with influencers where you think people care about you a lot more than they actually do but like in a good way, because say I have like an off month and I'm not posting anything, I'm going through some stuff. It's like I feel, oh my God, everybody's talking about me. They think I fell off. They're going to forget about me. They're going to replace me with this new person, all this stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, people really don't care that much, or they're not really thinking about your last failure, or they're not thinking about that time where you said stupid shit in your post, or you're on your like live or something, unless it's like obviously like horrible or you know what I mean? But like sometimes we hang on too much to like our small little like hiccups that we think everybody's talking about them, and it's like people really probably care more about themselves, like their last failure, or like when they went out last weekend and got drunk and said stupid stuff. They're not thinking about like your Photoshop fail from last Tuesday as much as you're thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Even if they are, they're thinking about it on Tuesday, and then come Wednesday morning,
when another influencer does the same thing,
or they're like, "What Photoshop fail?" They're like, "I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night."
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like kind of when you think of it like that, it takes away like a lot of the pressure. I mean, there still obviously always is pressure, but it's better to just think like, okay, there's a million other things that people probably are like, you know, consumed with than your shortcomings, you know?
Totally.
And this kind of goes with that, but the term imposter syndrome kind of like almost means the opposite. It's more like, yo, what do you mean I'm really talented and pretty? Like what? Like, so do you feel like being in social media, like how do you handle imposter syndrome, or do you feel like the balance between the spotlight and imposter syndrome is kind of like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely dealt with that like a lot, because I've, you know, had these huge aspirations and dreams and stuff, but then sometimes when some of them would start to like go into motion, I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah. Like I want all these like, you know, Kardashian level dreams, but I don't have the Kardashian budget and the team behind me. Like I'm just this random girl from Pennsylvania. Like am I in over my head kind of, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, okay, like, you know, just one day at a time. Not saying I have like Kardashian level dreams, but you know what I mean? Like anything, like I'm putting out this, you know, merchandise or this thing, or like, I remember when I did this appearance on Daily Pop, I was like so nervous. I've never even watched it back because I just, my nerves overcame me the day of, and I'm like, why didn't I get a media coach? Why didn't I get like a public speaking coach? And I was just like, you know what, whatever, like just go with it. But like times like that, I'm like, you'll get through it like you did every other time in your life, you know?
Absolutely.
You just learn from it. So
and when you do, the rest is noise. Everything is just noise that you have to block out.
Yeah. And it's like every single person that's successful that you follow, like the artists on your phone, the people behind the apps that you use, all of those people have had to be in uncomfortable situations and have failed 10 times before they had one, you know, success. Totally. So it's like you got to just kind of think like that.
How would you describe your spirituality, and what is your relationship with your spirituality?
Okay, so I believe in God like 1,000,000%. I have very strong faith. I feel like my faith is like probably the most important thing in my entire life, because I feel like when you have a sense or a feeling that there's something greater than you, that it just allows you to kind of navigate through life. Like you're not overwhelmed by obstacles, and sometimes it's like you feel like you just can't do it by yourself. Like you need to be like, God, please give me the strength. Like I'm not asking you to take away my, you know, troubles or my obstacles or my hardships, but just give me the strength to like endure this and help me get to the other side. And I feel like that kind of just makes life like worth, when we don't have God and we don't have, you know, faith or like belief in something larger than ourselves, life can just be overwhelming, because every day there's like a new thing we have to deal with. So sometimes when you're just like, you know, I can't do this on my own, like I need you, God, it kind of just gives you that resolve that like no matter what, everything will be fine, you know?
That's so true. I feel like even when you're going through like a tough situation, it's like there's so much, and I think that's why people like really lean on religion and like their faith, because like to feel like there's something that there's like, this isn't everything. Yeah. Like there's something that's coming, or like I will be moving past this to get to this point, and someone's watching over me, especially even if you've like lost a family member and you feel like they're watching over you from heaven or whatever you believe heaven to be. Like that's such a like comforting
1,000,000%. Yeah. And I feel like even again, like you said, I feel like people who have really, really strong faith and they lean into their spirituality, they are able also, like I've seen with people that I know, they could deal with losing loved ones a little bit easier than people who maybe don't have a strong connection to their faith or their, you know what I mean? Because they're like, I know I'm going to see you again. And I know that this isn't the end of the road for us, even though you're not here physically, you've moved on. But it gives them a little bit of, like, are you crying?
Well, I just got a news notification that Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly have been spotted out together, and they just had a fight over the weekend. I'm so sorry.
Wait, is it the one that they were leaving the therapist that I saw before? She looks disheveled and crying.
I can't believe
it looks like it was taken on like an iPhone too. Like it's like the worst photo quality ever.
They haven't officially called off the engagement, but Megan took her ring off. They've had issues in the past
with the thorns that makes it impossible to remove.
Okay, so I don't think they're like chilling. I think they just are yeah. Oh yeah, she deleted her Instagram.
She needs to just
girl, like if it gets to that point, like it's done. It's
toxic.
Over, like,
Yeah, toxic. My God.
I can't believe we were just having like a heartfelt conversation about God.
I know.
Before this, we were talking about this, and I was like, we just talked for 20 minutes about them breaking up, and if this comes out now and this episode doesn't come out for 2 more weeks,
and
they're like perfectly happy and married by then we just fucked up. But I'm sorry.
No, it needed to happen.
I was just like, I should probably do this. Yeah. Anyways,
I think we can all say that Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly
need to be done.
Need to be done. And need God.
They need to listen to the breakup episode. Though.
Yeah. Oh my God, they need to listen to the breakup episode, and then Machine Gun Kelly needs to listen to this episode because he can probably pick up on some things here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to
derail the God.
That was
and Megan Fox.
That was a good thought though, but jumping off that point, do you think, and I'm kind of restructuring this question, but do you believe in therapy, and do you think therapy can connect with spirituality and both of those combining to like?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think that one of the main principles about spirituality is just believing that there's something bigger than yourself, something higher than yourself. And I feel like it's almost, I don't want to compare therapy to, God, but I'm just saying maybe sometimes we feel overwhelmed when we think everything is like on our shoulders kind of. Mm-hmm. So obviously spirituality would be the highest level of feeling that kind of desire to maybe like hand over some of your anxieties and some of your troubles to somebody higher than you. And then obviously a therapist would be like a lower tier of that, but just somebody who kind of gives you like a better opinion, a better perspective.
No,
Are you laughing at this? What I'm saying? I'm like, am I sounding like a total
she was dropping her outfit.
I'm fine. Everyone's fine. Nobody looked at me.
And I feel like sometimes almost we know the answer, but we doubt ourselves. So when we hear somebody else reiterate it, we're like, it's like, I feel like no matter what, we sometimes have the fucking answer inside of us the entire time. Yep. But we always like self-doubt comes in there, insecurities or whatever, like not enough self-trust. And then when we like start to kind of tap into, our intuition or getting advice from a professional, it's like, I already knew that. You're just telling me what I already knew, but I didn't trust myself enough to follow through.
Yeah.
That's so true. I feel like the combination between the two is like a perfect kind of situation if you choose to be religious, because obviously your religion is like end all be all, like your answer, your truth, your like morals in a way, and like all of that combined. But then that therapist is like that person you can actually talk to and get that like
professional outsider's opinion.
Exactly. And then whereas like your religion or your God is just like a feeling you can connect with.
Yeah.
So like having that combination,
a feeling like a hope.
Yeah.
Like it's and a community as well. I think that's another thing about religion or spirituality or anything like that. Like it provides a sense of community, which is like, I'm not alone in this world. Yeah. And like even more than like God or a higher power, but in like there's these other people that I can kind of like commune with.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important. And I think that like that also really helps with mental health as well.
Yeah. Like people who've kind of experienced hardships or gone through like hell, and then came out of the other side like better than ever,
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a perfect segue into this next question.
About Megan Fox and did you see their new hell tattoos? Their matching tattoos of fire. The 666 ingrained on their heads.
Oh my God, that's too funny. No, but also like in talking about like kind of people who have come through it and come through the other end. That sounds bad. But like, who is your biggest inspiration? And like, maybe that's tied to mental health and like spirituality and all of that good stuff. But like, have you seen someone like really be successful with this and like inspire you to kind of also be on this path?
I don't know if I have specific. I have like kind of a mix of a bunch of different people who I've been inspired by in my life. But honestly, this sounds like a little bit narcissistic, but I feel like I'm actually one of my own inspirations, just knowing like what I came, like a small town, not saying I like dealt with like, you know, horrible, like hard knock life growing up, but just kind of seeing how I made things happen for myself early on and still kind of maintained a lot of my good values and my character and never really lost sight of my integrity and stuff while still trying to make my dreams happen. Like, I always kind of go back to that sometimes if things out here are too fast paced and things are like, you lose sight sometimes of why you started and where you came from. So sometimes I'm just like, okay, go back to the drawing board. Like, you know, this is where you come from.
Your roots.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important to kind of always remember your roots and use them and not try to abandon them, but, you know, grow from them and evolve and stuff. So
That was such a good answer. Like I'm jealous. Like I wish
I don't
I'm
think
jealous.
it sounds narcissistic at all.
Are you sure?
I think
Okay.
that you should be one of your own biggest
Inspiration?
like, people that you look up to.
Yeah,
like, inspiration.
especially with the career you've had, the things you've gone through. Like,
true.
Let's not discount like
You're
what
right.
you've done, and to use that to propel you to keep going
To further,
seems like the best motivation
for sure.
at that point.
So what are 3 things that you love about yourself and what are 3 things that you could work on?
3 things I love about myself. I love that I'm very creative. I love that I'm, what is the word? I guess I could see the potential in things. Like if I was somebody who flipped houses or something, I could look at a crack den of a house and be like, I could see what the final product could look like instead
visionary.
of just, visionary.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a nice word.
Yeah, I like that way better than my crack den comparison. I'm like, do you know Black China's mom by any chance?
Okay.
I'm like channeling. Yours sounded way better, visionary. And what else? I feel like I'm fearless for sure. I've never really had like any kind of qualms about attempting things, even if I think that they're outlandish and crazy. And I like that about myself. I'm definitely a risk taker for sure. But 3 things I wish that I want to improve or work on. I'm very impatient and I get overwhelmed easily. Like I'm not good at kind of multitasking. And sometimes if I feel overwhelmed, I just go into like hermit mode and I'm like, nobody bother me. And I want to learn kind of how to just keep calm and, you know, handle things.
And carry on.
Yeah, keep calm and carry on. Exactly. Yeah.
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
I feel like this kind of ties into what you just said, but this is something that I struggle with a lot too. So I'm glad a fan asked this. But how do you handle comparison or just like comparing yourself to others? Because I feel like that's something that everyone struggles with, especially in the industry. Like in influencer culture, everyone's like, well, this person's getting this rate or this person's like doing this and getting sent to the Super Bowl with Rihanna. Like
Super Bowl with Rihanna. I've never really dealt with that kind of stuff because I feel like there's so many different people and everybody has like different, you know, things and qualities about them. I more so compare myself to myself and I'm like, 2 years ago, I had like this huge year and like I was like, you know, this, and this, like nonstop. And then I'm like, this year's been slower. Sometimes I kind of get stuck in my head about that. And I'm like, okay, well, that year you also were like blah, 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 and you didn't have all this stuff to deal with. So sometimes I kind of try to be like, okay, always focus on like, you know, the time. Don't worry about the past or the future too much. Just be like, this is what I have to do in this season. You know, because I feel like sometimes you could get kind of stuck in like that level of comparison, which is like, you know,
And I've heard the best person to compare yourself to is your past self.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because like you can only really get better. It's not like you're going
Exactly.
to compare yourself to your past self and be like, you know, a worse person now. Or
Yeah.
if you are, you're going to check
Hopefully
yourself.
not.
Yeah.
I like what you said too about like think about what's going on like this season. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what that did in my head, but like
Yeah,
that
that
made me think
clicked.
like
Yeah.
it clicked. But I'm also like, okay, like are you thinking of your life as like a reality show?
Yeah.
Because that's
1,000,000%. That's I always say that. Pretend like everyone says main character energy, but really pretend that you are a character. Say, Pretend like somebody's filming a movie about your life. So you really want to like jazz it up. What would you, and it's like, what does this season of my show demand of me? Am I going to be more into fitness? Am I going to travel more? Am I going to be single? Am I going to be more like into self-care? Like you're your own character, and it's like season 6 of The Bachelorette. Yeah.
coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah.
But there's like comfort in that too, because like not only can you look at it like, okay, like what is going to benefit my character this season, but also like the unknown and what's scary that you can't control. It's like the writers are going to handle that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
It'll fall into
exactly.
the script. Like,
it's going to happen. I'll find out when I need to find out.
Yeah.
And that's all I can do as an actor.
Exactly. Because we always get in our heads about like what's going to happen in the future. And it's like if you just think of things as a season of your show, then you just
Some
know.
seasons are better than others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like comparing it to like the seasons of like the actual seasons, like fall, winter, spring. And
Yeah.
like sometimes you're like in a winter season and it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? Not a lot is happening right now. And like
Yeah.
I can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know I'm gonna come into my summer soon.
yeah, Hot Girl Summer
Miley
is
Cyrus
coming.
Endless Summer Vacation.
Yeah.
Isn't that the name of her album?
Do
you think that's why?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't even know
maybe
what
she's in the
referencing,
summer season of her
actually.
life. Isn't Miley's new album that's coming out called?
She-
I thought you
Oh,
were like
yeah,
a
I think
Miley
so.
stan.
I was like having a crisis about that the other day.
That Flower song is
wow.
off of a new album that I believe is called Endless
I
Summer
was like, is
Vacation.
this just a single?
That's crazy. I think she's heard about the success of Hot Girl Summer from Megan Thee Stallion and was like, let me get in on this.
Oh yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, that was a really good answer. Like I need to start comparing myself to myself.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
That is
Your
a game
seasons of your
changer.
show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I really love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And must I say, guys, this season of our show, incredible.
Gonna be the best yet. The best yet.
It really is.
And that's another thing too. I never say the best ever. Yes, like I always say the best yet. Like walking into the best
Yes.
year of my life yet, because that
Yeah.
means so far this will be the best. But then next year might be even
could be
better,
better
than
than-
this.
yeah.
Because if you say the best ever, it means like it can only go down from here. But if you say it's the
Right.
best yet, it means it's gonna just keep climbing. This is the
I'm
best yet.
obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're such
Like,
a
I'm actually
manifest queen.
obsessed.
Like,
It's true though, and the way you like talk to yourself like that really actually can manifest in your real life.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Abigail, don't be surprised if you get some text from me. I'm going to be like, Abigail, tell me what to do here.
Like listen.
My guru.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Jenna, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So, do you have any triggers, I guess is the word, and how do you identify them and maybe what are they? So, like you said, running late can kind of
Yeah.
trigger anxiety, things like that. Or is it maybe something someone does or says that can kind of.
Are
Yeah.
we thinking like trigger like bad mental health like
I think
habits?
like when I think of the word trigger, I maybe not so much like dive right into all of your bad mental health habits, but maybe where you know like I'm not feeling mentally my best. Like this is
Yeah.
a trigger for me. Like example, if I sleep in and I'm running late, I know I'm going to have an anxious day. Like
Yeah.
that's
Definitely
it
the
needs to be-
being rushed for sure.
Yeah.
So I try to kind of like get rid of my short term, like again, like sleeping in is always something that I kind of like have learned to work around. Like I'll put my phone far away from my bed so that in the morning when I'm like unconscious, I don't just talk myself into be like 20 minutes more won't hurt, because then I know I'm going to be making up for that the rest of the day, being anxious, rushed, feeling like unprepared and stuff. So I kind of have tried to like, I know my weaknesses. So I set my phone further away from my bed. I give myself a slow morning. I give myself enough time to get up and do all those things that I said. And then that'll really set my tone for the day, set my mood. And that like the happier I am, I mean, it's like anyone.
Yeah.
You just, you can get more done. You can just, I'm not somebody who could kind of like turn it off at a moment's notice. So I really do try to kind of have, you know, total control over my morning so that I could show up as my best self for like the rest of the day.
So when you say you're not able to turn it off, do you mean like once you have that trigger, I guess
Yeah.
you're sort of like
I feel like
in
it's just
that?
like a dominant, like it's like
Yeah.
a sequence of events that is just like one thing after the other. And I try not to like fall into that trap because people say, oh, just because you had like a bad morning doesn't mean you're going to have a bad day. But sometimes for me, it really means I'm going to have a fucking bad day.
Sometimes it be like that.
Do you feel like people can ever be triggers for you? Like certain types of like personalities or
Definitely.
I've noticed
That's a good
that
question.
with myself because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, this is like a constant conversation, but like the whole like people in LA industry vibes, like sometimes that can be a trigger for me where I'm like, oh, like you're one of these like industry bros that is just like so.
For sure.
Yeah.
I used to actually have a hair person that would come and do my hair at like 9 a.m., but they started working at 5 a.m. every day that they would come to me. So by the time they would come to me, they'd be exhausted, miserable, and I'm just like waking up from my day. At 9 a.m., I'm happy, and they're miserable, showing up, bitching about their other clients, and I'm like, you know what? I really would like if you just showed up here with like a fresh slate, because when you come here like complaining and nagging and being exhausted and your energy's low, it's just kind of like rubbing off on me. But I mean, I don't work with them anymore, but it was just like I picked up that energy like right away. You know,
especially doing a profession like that, like you can't come into that new space with that
sure.
bad attitude.
Yeah.
Like especially working with talent, obviously. Like,
oh my God, yeah, you have to be fresh for each new person.
Yeah.
You have to be like,
exactly.
and it's not even like, oh, you have to be fake. Like you can be like, hey, I'm having a bad day. I'm so sorry.
You could be silent.
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody be silent.
Rather silence,
Than like I'm like your therapist, your unpaid therapist at 9 a.m. Like what?
Yeah.
You're paying them for them
to vent to you.
It's a little backwards.
Yeah, and even if they were like, hey, like I'm having a bad day. I'm so sorry. I just had to get this off my chest. Like then you could be like, okay, well, let's turn this day around. Really.
Let's have fun.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Like there's always a new opportunity to be having fun.
Yeah.
And like if that's like a one-time thing, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like the second time you complain to somebody about something, you're not looking for a solution. You're just looking for somebody to vent to. You know what I mean? Like you're looking for like sympathy. Like
and if like the first time you were really responsive and kind and nice, like I'm sure you were because you are, then they're like, oh, they care. And then they almost get this like addiction to being miserable around you because you have such the opposite energy that they get like addicted to your positivity, even though they're, does that make sense?
No,
like,
for sure.
And
like
they kind
the
of get like
validation.
stuck. Yeah, like I've had that conversation so many times. A lot of times people who are miserable want to stay miserable because they love the attention they're getting from
for
it.
sure.
Like,
We also kind of touched on that in the breakups episode, because the whole like stealing energy thing.
Yeah.
Like they're coming in with negative energy, taking your good energy, recharging, and then leaving you with nothing.
Yeah. I feel like everything's like an energy exchange.
Yeah.
So there's energy vampires who just drain the living like life out of you.
Yeah.
And when you leave them, you feel depleted. Like, what the fuck did I just deal with? You know, and then there's people that kind of recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
And sometimes those people aren't like always negative people. Sometimes they're high energy, positive people, but they still drain you.
Yeah.
And you really just have to like, I hate saying this, but based on like vibes, like see what type of person they are. And if they're draining you, cut them from your life.
Yeah.
Dead weight.
Seriously. But yeah, next question. What are some of your life passions? Like I am excited about this one.
My life passion. I mean, again, like I like being creative overall. So I feel like that is kind of like a limitless realm of things. Like, and you could always evolve with it, like come out with different products, create different things. I do love traveling, and I would love to kind of be able to incorporate traveling with being creative. And then obviously the more successful I am, I could help more people because I really do love to give back. I like to help as much as I can with just whatever. My family, I like set them up with businesses and all that stuff.
So, who are 3 people that make you your happiest? Who do you like to surround yourself with to feel your best?
You totally don't have to say us 3.
I'm trying to think. Well, I would probably say like some of my siblings, but I don't see them that much. But we're all like in a group chat. But like they make me laugh so hard. My siblings or like my parents or. I mean, obviously my friends, but if I'm thinking of like people that really, really make me laugh, I would say the 3 youngest siblings besides me.
Do you have sisters or brothers or both?
I'm one of 7.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, I need to know more about this real quick. Sorry if you
I'm the
talked about
5th
this.
of 7.
Oh.
So there's 4 boys, 3 girls.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy. We should do
I
a
know.
whole episode on what that's
Yeah,
like.
big families.
Yeah,
For real, that's
What do
crazy.
your siblings do?
They're all back in I mean, they all do different stuff. Two of my brothers have like an MMA school.
That's
Wow,
cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah. My other brother Nathan is like a wildlife photographer and writer.
Wow.
And then two of my sisters work for my mom. She has like a creative childcare program. It's like a Montessori, basically.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so
They all
cool.
do like random stuff. But I'm the only one who ever left our town, so they're all
Wow.
back
Wow.
home.
So they're all back in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we film The
I have
Bachelorette,
so much to talk
we
about
have
here.
to do a home episode
Bachelorette.
when you go home to
Episode,
Pennsylvania.
yeah.
That would be funny.
Literally.
Yeah.
That is so. I have so
that's so
many
cool.
like questions. I feel like now,
Same.
but yeah,
I know we're like,
well,
the
we
timer's
should
up.
You could do a
Episode
whole
on
other
family.
thing about that.
Yeah, because like
That'd
there's
be a
so
really good
much to
episode.
unpack there.
Yeah. A
That's
lot.
awesome. I mean,
Kids,
that's
if you're
amazing.
listening.
The 5th of 7, like that's like true middle child.
Yeah, it's like basically middle. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
but that's awesome that in your adult life you're still close with them, and
Yeah.
when being asked who makes you the happiest, that it's still your siblings. Like
Yeah.
that, not a lot of
Yeah.
people can say that. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
for sure.
That's awesome.
That's true.
yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Time's up. I gotta go. We're on the clock. See.
No, because like with the whole like middle child and this being about mental health, do you think like growing up with so many people in the house, like all of that, did that affect your mental health? And then living on your own now, like
Yeah.
that was like really monumental for you?
I feel like, growing up in my family with all the kids, I feel like it was kind of, they're spread out a lot. So there was never 7 of us in the house at once. There's probably like 4 of us in the house at one time. But
Okay.
I always was like I don't want to say the black sheep, but I was like everyone knew I would kind of get out of our town a little bit. And then I feel like there was a lot of pressure on me always, kind of. And then, I don't know. I feel like it hasn't really affected my mental health that much, but I feel like I'm like a giver, and sometimes I feel like responsible for like, okay, well, I helped my one sibling get like an apartment. Now I need to help the other ones like with other things. And I feel like I'm like a people pleaser, like that I always feel like I should be doing more. And I'm like, their problems like aren't always my problems, you know?
100%, yeah.
It's good to be there when you can be there for them,
Yeah.
but also like let them like live their life.
For
and
sure.
You'll
you can't
always
swoop in and save everybody every single time something goes wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
and you'll always be their sister.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I filed for those papers last month to be disassociated with my family. Just
That was a
kidding.
great note to end on. Like, I no longer speak to my family. Oh my God.
Just kidding. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. I think we covered a lot about mental health and just a lot of things. Damn. I feel like I just left like an amazing therapy session.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, that wraps it up. And I hope you guys have an amazing Valentine's Day. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of On Air. Bye.